Welcome, everyone. Today we're doing a deep dive into something really fascinating, maybe even a bit surprising. The Urim and Thummim.
Right. For centuries, there's been this ambiguity, hasn't there?
Exactly. Like, was it just two stones for a basic yes or no from God, or was it something else entirely?
Well, that's where the scholarly debate gets interesting. Some argue Urim and Thummim isn't even two things, technically.
Oh,
Yeah, they suggest it's a figure of speech, a hendiadys, meaning one concept expressed by two words,
okay. Like what concept?
like perfect light, or perhaps unerrable revelation. So, suggesting a single miraculous divine communication, much more profound than just, casting lots.
Wow. Okay. That changes the picture quite a bit. Perfect light.
It does.
And that idea becomes, well, really central when we look at the claims of Dallas James. This is where it gets quite extraordinary.
He claims to actually possess the Urim Thummim today.
Yes. And not just an ancient artifact, but he identifies it as the biblical object, the Christ stone of Scripture, even the legendary Holy Grail.
That's a lot rolled into one object.
It is. He says it's the key to understanding what he calls the mystery of Christ. He believes the core truth has been obscured basically until now, these end times.
And this stone is the revealer.
According to him, yes. So let's unpack the object itself. What does he say it looks like?
He gives a very detailed description. It's a flat, oval jasper stone,
Okay, Jasper, size.
roughly 2 by 2.5 centimeters diameter, so quite small. And it has a gold sheet on top.
Gold sheet, engraved.
Yes, engraved with several symbols, a tree of life, a serpent, and importantly, a couchant positioned lion of the tribe of Judah,
A resting lion. Okay. Anything else?
and 7 eyes. Now, get this. 2 of the lion's eyes are apparently jewels, sapphire eyes, or he mentions maybe garnets, and they flash brightly.
Flashing jeweled eyes on a lion engraving. That's specific.
Very specific. He says the whole artifact symbolizes New Jerusalem.
The heavenly city.
Right. And the lion naturally represents Christ's authority. He also connects it directly to the key of David.
Which in the Bible relates to authority and access.
Exactly. Access to hidden knowledge, essentially. So James is implying this stone is that key, offering perfect revelation now for the end times.
It's a powerful set of symbols all packed onto one small stone. But, the big question with finds like this, provenance. How does his claim of ancient origin hold up?
Well, that's where things get complicated.
Yeah.
James is adamant it's the ancient singular artifact.
What?
But an independent appraisal came back with a very different assessment. It classified the object as judicious Zionist art.
Zionist art from when?
Late 1890s, maybe up to the early 1920s. They pointed to stylistic elements, like the specific pose of the lion awakening with tongue out.
So potentially a century old, not millennia? That's a huge difference.
Massive difference. And it clashes with other descriptions we have, like Joseph Smith's Urim and Thummim, 2 transparent stones set in the rim of a silver bow. Very different image.
So how does James reconcile that, the appraisal?
He basically maintains its divine purpose, regardless of the date. For him, it's either the actual ancient UT or perhaps a divinely authorized modern counterpart made for this specific time. The purpose trumps the appraised age.
Okay, the purpose is key for him. Now there's another layer here, right? Something about the gold.
Yes, this is a really unique twist. The gold sheet on top, it's 12-karat gold.
Okay. And the significance.
James connects this to a term, bislik. He found it's a 16th century pre-colonial Philippine word, specifically meaning 12-karat gold.
Philippine gold, how does that fit?
Well, it ties into his other beliefs. He believes the Garden of Eden was actually in the Philippines.
Seriously? Eden in the Philippines?
That's his view. And then there's a personal connection. Bislig City in the Philippines is his wife's hometown. He claims a personal revelation that this city will be an active area of prophecy in the end times.
Wow. So the gold's carat, the Philippine term, Eden, his wife's hometown, it all converges for him.
Precisely. He concludes the gold on the Urim Thummim must also be from paradise, from Eden.
So the bislid gold becomes more than just metal.
Much more. He links it to a verse in Malachi 3.17. God speaks of his jewels, or segula, his special treasure.
Which is usually interpreted as God's chosen people.
Right. James sees this bisli gold, this specific 12-karat gold from paradise, as a tangible symbol for God's people being purified in the end times.
Like refining gold.
Exactly. He talks about people being refined away from what he terms Western pagan churchianity towards Sabbath-keeping Jewish messianic forms of Christianity. The gold is a metaphor for that spiritual refinement.
Okay, that's quite a complex web of interpretation. How does he, support these very personal and specific claims?
He relies heavily on personal validations. He recounts, for instance, two specific angelic encounters.
Angelic encounters.
Yes. In one, he says he miraculously received free corn.
Free corn?
Yes, which he interprets as divine proof, a sign of his priestly authority to receive the tithe, a very literal sign.
Huh, okay. And the second encounter?
He says he witnessed the arm of YHWH, that biblical image of God's direct power and intervention. He saw this as a sign of renewed divine support for his mission.
So direct divine signs.
In his account, yes. And he also mentions the DNA evidence, which he believes points to him having Levite ancestry, connecting him to the ancient Israelite priesthood.
Right, the Levites were associated with temple service, and some believe potentially the original Urim and Thummim.
Exactly. So, putting it all together, if you look at the bigger picture, James's interpretation is quite radical.
How so?
Well, by saying the New Testament mystery, this hidden truth Paul talks about is specifically about the Urim Thummim, he completely reframes Christianity.
Making the artifact itself central.
Absolute central. To understanding Christ, the gospel, the end times, it all revolves around this object and its revelation, in his view.
So, wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening? It's a powerful example, isn't it, of how conviction can weave together ancient texts, personal experiences, historical artifacts.
And unexpected connections, like this whole Bislig gold thread.
Right. It really makes you think about belief and interpretation.
Right.
And maybe it raises a crucial question for all of us today. In a world just flooded with information and claims, how do we actually engage critically? How do we discern what's what when people claim hidden truths are being revealed right now?
That's the challenge, isn't it?
Yeah.
How to navigate these claims thoughtfully.